million people are going to march in the United States on April 5th. A million people.
Sit your black ass down.
April 5th is coming. And before anybody starts romanticizing protest, let me just say it plain as day. No confusion. We are not going out there. Not this time. We are not going out there. A whole lot of people are planning to hit the streets, right? I know y'all have heard the buzz. Chants, signs, cameras, emotions are going to be high. I get it. Hell, I've been out there before. But the last time we marched, what happened? They tear gassed us, shoved elders to the ground, committed vandalism, and then blamed us. They shot rubber bullets at kids, and then had the nerve to call us violent. We showed up with our voices. They showed up with riot gear. We screamed, "Don't shoot," and they loaded that clip anyway. And let's be clear, this administration, they've let us know in no uncertain terms, Black people in the street equals threat. They're looking for a reason to vilify us. They're waiting for a headline to twist. They're hoping for a camera angle that's going to justify their brutality. And what do we get in return? A quote tweet, a statement, maybe a mural, but no safety, no justice, no peace. So no, we're not marching this time. We're not going to give them the photo op that they so desperately want. We're not playing into that cycle. We're not going to give them the excuse that they're so desperate for. We're protecting our people. We're staying home. We're building offline. We're organizing smarter. Because we don't need to be in the streets to prove that our rage is real. So let them march. Let them bait. Let them spin the same tired narratives. But don't let them turn your Blackness into a threat on live TV. April 5th, we sit back. We step back. We stay safe. Because survival is resistance too.
A million people are going to march in the United States on April 5th. A million people.
Sit your black ass down.
If you're still wondering why Black people, Black women in particular, are protesting from home, I'm going to need you to go find that video of that woman being dragged on her back by her limbs while a whole group of people, a whole bunch of women, sat there and watched and did nothing.
Sheriff Norris, this gentleman is assaulting me. You out now. This man is assaulting me. You out now. Let's go. This man is assaulting me. Is this your deputy? Is this your deputy? No, don't fucking touch us. Is he a deputy? These are deputies. Who the are these men? So how about that?
Hey, hey.
It's too bad that we have some 150-year-old Social Security recipients mismanaging money.
She has to cooperate, it'll be 100 times better.
Yeah, that's what they say to rape victims. You fucking piece of shit. You refuse to identify yourselves. Who are you? Who are you?
To come here today, and I applaud them for doing so. Thank you for coming. But the problem is this. They didn't come here to listen. They came here to
Nothing. That video is shocking. I had to watch it 3 times because I wanted to see what the crowd was doing and how they were reacting. And they sat there and watched as those men dragged her out of there. Y'all don't have each other's backs. It's shocking. That would have never happened in a room full of Black women. Our instinct would have made us jump out of our chairs without even thinking about our own safety, because that's what we do. It is unfathomable to me that a woman could watch, just like biology, a woman could watch another woman being dragged like that for talking and do nothing. You guys, I mean, yeah, everybody needs to see that video and think about it.
A million people are going to march in the United States on April 5th. A million people.
Sit your black ass down.
The Hands Off 2025 protest is a significant event that has sparked intense discussions about racial justice and safety for Black lives. and it's essential to examine the potential risks involved. The safety of Black individuals during protests is a pressing concern, as they often face unique challenges and dangers. Law enforcement responses can be unpredictable, and public sentiment can be volatile, putting Black lives at risk. Protests can be chaotic, and the presence of counter-protesters can escalate tensions, creating an environment that is hostile to Black individuals. History has shown that even peaceful protests can turn violent, and Black people are often disproportionately affected. The threat of violence, arrest, or other forms of harm is always present, making it crucial for Black individuals to be aware of their surroundings and take necessary precautions. Historical instances have demonstrated that Black Lives Matter protests can lead to violence or danger, often due to societal factors such as systemic racism and prejudice. The 1992 Los Angeles riots, the 2014 Ferguson unrest, and the 2020 George Floyd protests are just a few examples of how protests can turn violent, resulting in harm to Black individuals and communities. These events highlight the need for collective safety and the importance of understanding the risks involved in protests for Black lives. Racial tensions, economic inequality, and social injustices can all contribute to an environment that is prone to violence and danger.
It was our problem before he got elected. It was our problem when he was running for office. It was our problem when we were trying to warn y'all about it. It was our problem when we were telling everybody to show up at the polls. It was our problem when we were telling y'all to vote against white supremacy and racism. It was our problem when we told y'all, yes, vote for the Black woman. The woman who is more open to talking about things, about issues like the war in Gaza. Vote for the Black woman who is concerned with racism ending, who is concerned with white supremacy ruling, who is concerned with classism, who is concerned with gay rights, who is concerned with women's rights, bodily autonomy, misogynoir, all of the things that affected us then and will still affect us because y'all didn't listen when we told you then. The fact that it's going to affect us coming soon doesn't change the fact that it's already been affecting us then, now, and to come. The difference is we are not going to put our bodies physically in a dangerous position. We will not be giving them an excuse to mass unalive us by us gathering in one spot. We will not be putting our bodies on the front lines anymore for people who constantly disrespect us, appropriate from us, and don't show up for us. No, baby, we're not doing it. Get somebody else to do it.
1 million people are going to march in the United States on April 5th. 1 million people.
Sit your Black ass down.
What's good, y'all? So I want to address something really quickly because one, this is very important, and two, I'm starting to see my people get a little shaky. And I think that what's going on in the world is currently testing everyone's resolve because we're not used to sitting back, but pay attention to this. So over the past few days, I've been seeing a lot of us asking each other, like, are we really going to sit this out? Are we really not going to protest? We're not going to help? You have to answer that question for yourself, but I do want to make you mindful of something. So this is the first time in recent history that Black people as a collective have decided to sit out the fight. This is the first time that we've said we weren't going to protest, we weren't going to join in. And there's still protests taking part all over the country. Have you guys noticed that there's a very big difference in the way these protests are being conducted? I haven't seen anybody laying out bricks or tools that could be used to deface or destruct property. I haven't seen police gas bombing anybody. I haven't seen anybody being put into vans and disappeared and getting arrested for no reason. None of that has been taking place. And it's funny that this isn't taking place because this is the first time that we haven't been out there. So you need to think about that. These are the communities that are trying to gaslight you into helping and trying to make it seem as if it's all going to be us. We already know that. It's always been us. It's always been that way. But they're doing that because they are afraid to throw the first stone, which we've, a few people have said, but they want us to do it. And they want us to do it knowing what our fate will be if we do. And that's the part I want to focus in on. Everybody understands that when we're on the front lines, that's when violence ensues. We have the right to protest just like anybody else. We have the right to peacefully protest, which is what we do. But do you see the stigma that was attached to the Black Lives Matter protests? People were saying that they were violent and people were attacking cops and defacing property. We weren't doing that. They were doing that. All of that was a setup. So now they're sitting around waiting for us to kickstart this thing so that they can start doing the same things to us again, even though they know that we said we weren't putting ourselves on the front lines like that. They still want you to.
Now, if you feel like you need to go out there, you feel led to do that, that's on you. I can't tell you what to do or what not to do. I can only speak for myself. I can always speak and advocate from my phone. But like I said, my attention is going toward my people, it's going toward myself, my personal life, and fixing what I can fix and controlling what I can control. But I'm not willing to be so self-sacrificing that I put myself out there when the contrast is so stark. I can see exactly what the differences are between what's taking place now and what's taking place in the past. And I'm not going to be put out there. I'm just not going to do it. Guys, really pay attention to that. These protests are so different. These are the most peaceful protests that I've seen as far as the way that the police and everybody else interacts. Like, we've always been peaceful in our protests, but the way that they're handling these people, nobody's getting treated the way that we normally get treated. But what do you think is going to happen if we put ourselves out there? Pay attention to that, because people are trying to make it seem like it's all about the Latino people getting deported and all that stuff. No, first off, more than just their community is going to be deported. They aren't the only immigrants in the country, but also they already know what happens when Black people are on the front lines, and they really don't care about asking you to do that. Everybody's asking you to sacrifice yourself for them when they wouldn't do the same for you, and they showed us that over and over again. Now, I'm not trying to make us, see people as less than human or tell us that we shouldn't care or shouldn't have empathy. We should, but y'all, we cannot keep interrupting people's lessons, okay? Our lesson is to learn to take care of ourselves. We've never done that. Their lesson is to learn how to do the same and how to stand up for humanity as a whole. You can't sit around talking about being human and united and solidarity if you don't exercise that every single day of your life. This is your time to shine. This is your time to get out there on the front lines. And while you're making demands of Black people, make demands of everybody else. We're the only community being punched down on for not wanting to participate when other communities don't participate at all and don't even talk about the stuff. Why do we always get the backlash? Think about that, y'all. They want us to sacrifice ourselves, and I personally am not going to do it. Like, I understand that it's hard for a lot of us because we have so much empathy, but y'all, please, have that empathy toward us. Put us first this time, please.
1 million people are going to march in the United States on April 5th. 1 million people.
Sit your black ass down.
I have two messages for you all today. One is for my white followers, and one is for my Black brothers and sister followers. First, white followers. White woman boomer here. All of my white followers, you all have to know right now how important it is for your skin and your voice to be speaking up and against the racism in this country, to speak up and against the hatred in this country. If it makes you feel uncomfortable to be the voice for the people that are having their existence whitewashed away, it's time that you get out from underneath your uncomfortable skin and really start speaking up for our brothers and sisters of color. Now for my Black brothers and sisters out there, I feel you, I see you, I hear you, and I know how horrific this reality is for all of you. I get it. I will be your voice. This white boomer here, I will be your voice. I am so freaking angry today that I can't even contain myself right now. So let's go back to my white followers. What can you do? Speak up. Be out there on April 5th. We can no longer keep saying, be kind, be nice. Our presence as white-skinned Americans, we need to stand united for our Black brothers and sisters, our Latino community, all of our brothers and sisters of color, because they are all under attack. Okay, for all my brothers and sisters of color out there, take a deep breath. Stand this one out. I don't want to see Black people out on April 5th. And you know what I'm talking about. You barbecue with your family. You go to a movie. You do some household chores. Take a self-care day. Do nothing. Get out in nature. But do not join us white people in the protest against this fascist, racist regime. There's my rant. This crap has got to stop. It stops when all the white people get our shit together and we band together for the sake of the rest of this country. Unconscionable what is happening out there. Much love to you all. Take a deep breath, stay well, and stay safe.
1 million people are going to march in the United States on April 5th. 1 million people.
Sit your black ass down.
I had to remake this video because I started crying. So, about Black people not marching, and I seen a comment on another creator's page about we all have a stake in this. Okay, listen. For the people who are marching, 92% of Black women showed up at the polls on November 5th. And 80% of Black men showed up at the poll because we asked them to. And sometimes we begged them to, because we believed that Kamala had an ear that would listen to us as people. Was she perfect? No. But she was the best choice for America. She was the best choice for women. She was the best choice for people of color. She was the best choice for the poor. Because nobody really listened to what Donald Trump said, right? Y'all heard him, but you didn't listen. Because now some of you are shocked at what he's doing, but he said it the entire time. So, if Black people were to go out on April 5th and march with you, it would be an excuse for them to declare martial law, right? Doesn't matter if the Hispanics do it. Doesn't matter if the Latinos do it. Doesn't matter if the Asians do it. It only matters if we do it. If we show up in mass numbers. And then you will understand what he's really trying to do. Okay? So once again, Black people are protecting you. And y'all just need to ride with it, because we are right. We were right before and we're right now. So we are helping you from our social media platforms, and we are helping you with organizing, but we are not going to show up physically. It is not going to happen. And nobody wants a country like that.
The 2020 George Floyd protests, for instance, saw widespread violence and looting, with many Black individuals caught in the middle, facing harm from both law enforcement and rioters. This scenario illustrates the heightened risks for Black individuals at protests, where they may be targeted by law enforcement or caught in the crossfire of violent clashes. The trauma and harm caused by such events can have long-lasting effects on Black communities, making it essential to prioritize their safety and well-being. Protests can be a powerful tool for social change, but they must be approached with caution and a deep understanding of the potential risks involved. Recent events have shown that the risks for Black individuals at protests are still very real, with many facing violence, arrest, or other forms of harm. The danger of being targeted by law enforcement or counter-protesters is always present, and Black individuals must be vigilant and prepared for any situation. The importance of safety and security cannot be overstated, as the consequences of neglecting these factors can be severe. By understanding the risks and taking necessary precautions, Black individuals can minimize their exposure to harm and create a safer environment for themselves and others. The key points discussed highlight the importance of understanding the risks involved in protests for Black lives and the need for collective safety. It's crucial to prioritize the well-being and security of Black individuals, especially in the context of protests and demonstrations. By acknowledging the potential dangers and taking steps to mitigate them, we can create a safer and more just environment for everyone.
I am loving the energy around the April 5th protest. If you don't know about it, please go to handsoff2025.com and check out and see if your local city is having one. And if not, maybe you can join somewhere else. For our friends of color, we totally understand that you are planning to sit out. I've seen thousands and thousands of comments that this is not your fight. We get it. We support you. And we want you to stay home and be safe. Somebody made a comment the other day that they think that Trump is just looking for an excuse to instill martial law. And I tend to agree with that. Again, we want everybody to be safe, but I love the energy. I hope you are able to go. Check it out. Again, it's handsoff2025.com and hope to see you there. Let me know what city you're attending.
1 million people are going to march in the United States on April 5th. 1 million people.
Sit your black ass down.
So I did research and looked more into April 5th, and I completely agree. Black people, sit your ass down. Like, usually I'm not a part of protests, but I do a lot of media and I document protests. So usually I'm out on my bike just documenting the whole thing. But in this case, I don't even want to get out and document it. Cause let me just explain the whole logic behind this. For some reason, right, every time there is a protest that involves everybody but us as black people, it's okay. But every time, and historically, you can look this up, every time black people have tried to protest, for some reason, like, the police see it as a red alert. You know, they see it as, okay, we need to use force. And literally, you can put two groups of people, black people, and whomever you want to choose, and let them protest the same way, and somehow the force will only be used against black people. And it makes perfect sense for black people to feel this way about this protest. Like, even though we all might be a little different as black people, we all on one page when it comes to peeping game, and we all see exactly what y'all trying to do. And this is something you have to understand too, right? So you have a large group of, you know, Trump supporters. So they automatically gonna feel that any protest against their president is unpatriotic or some sort of threat. And a lot of those Trump supporters are crazy. Like, they're gun-toting crazy supporters. So if you put them in a position where they see large groups of people protesting against him or whatever's going on in the world, they immediately take offense to it. But if you put them in a position where a large group of black people are partaking in that protest, they immediately see violence. And even if there isn't any sort of violence, they will incite violence. They will literally start the violence and somehow migrate to only wanting to act on black people. That's why a lot of black people are saying we sitting this one out. Because one thing that needs to be understood is we already had the Million Man March. If you're not familiar with the Million Man March is, look it up. We already had our grandfathers, great grandfathers, dads. They did that. And that was already millions and millions of black men. So we did that already. But in today's climate, with how crazy some of these people are, we're not doing that. Black people want to just be out the way and let everybody else do what you need to do. Because if anything pops off, let it pop off with those people. Don't let anything pop off and somehow we get pulled into it, but we suffer the most damage out of everybody. Because they'll do that. It's almost like they're waiting for that. You already got this weird segregation stuff that's going off. So it's like, why that before this? And I'm already hearing echoes over the internet out of all the days they plan on banning TikTok again on April 5th. Why? And when we already have kind of opened that rabbit hole of when they ban TikTok is because they want to suppress information. And out of all the days on April 5th, why would TikTok, the most universal connecting platform, social platform, why would it be shut off that day? Out of all the days? Because hypothetically, let's say TikTok was banned on April 5th and all these protests was popping off, you wouldn't really know what's going on. You couldn't be on the Midwest looking over to the East. You couldn't be to the West looking over to the East and seeing these crazy forms of whatever the protest has to offer. So just those two things alone is suspect. But overall, I completely understand why all black people are saying, hey, we not doing this shit. I agree. I don't want to be out in that. And like I said, I'm usually used to being out in protests and stuff like that, documenting, but not this one. Because what also needs to be understood is that there's people that they want to act upon their impulses, but they can't, because they still got a pinch of sense in there that tells them, hey, I can't just do this against a particular group of people because I know how it's going to look. I know that it's going to threaten my job, my career, my friendships, all of that. But if you give them a perfect scenario, they can act upon their impulses. And another thing is that if we as black people sit out this protest, they will make the protest what it's about, right? It will be what it's supposed to be about. But if we involve ourselves, they will take the universal reason for what the protest was about and they will make it about black people. They will do that. And we don't need that happening again, because this has happened once before. You remember back then when everybody was doing the Black Lives Matter protest, right? And those were solely protests for Black lives. It was so obvious, right? You know how much backlash that got because for some reason everybody wanted to make it a universal thing. It was a protest about black people, but everyone wanted to universally make it about everything. They wanted to make it about everybody. No, all lives matter. We get that, but this is a black people thing. Well, see, we learned from that, and we learned to not make things about ourselves around a lot of y'all, because when we make stuff about us around y'all make it about everything else. So now it's the reverse Uno. Now we out of it, so y'all can't say they're making it about themselves. Nope, we're out of it now. Black people, we're out of it. So now everybody else that's involved in it, make it about what it's about, which is the corruption and Trump and all that. We actually doing y'all a favor. So if you're black, sit your ass down on April 5th. Don't go out. Don't do it. Nope. Let them do that. You stay at home. You find something to do. A good movie, some food, a video game, whatever. Take up a trade, a new book, whatever. You stay your ass home. Let them make this about what it's about. Don't let them tell us, oh, you're making it about yourself, because that's when the problems is going to start. No. Nope.
Like, how you mad at me for being mad at you for something you did to me? That just don't make sense to me, bro.
And this is why we're on hiatus. Because if we were there, never would have happened. You wanna know why I know this never would have happened if we were there? The doc and the chair.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're interested in current events, politics, and what the people are talking about, check out our other videos on the channel. We appreciate you being here and hope you subscribe and join the family.